good evening. It is Monday evening. My name's Richard. This is over and over and over again. It is the Arsenal review. It's not been a bad week, has it, for Arsenal? Again, another one. It seems to be a regular occurrence at the moment, which is nice. Just before we start, I just really wanted to say happy birthday to these two Arsenal legends. First of all, of course, Tony Adams, who is 56 today, and also Charlie George, who is 72 today. Two Arsenal players, both won the double with Arsenal. So it share the same birthday, two legends of the club, of course. I just wanted to say happy birthday to them. A lot to get through tonight, obviously. It wasn't a bad game yesterday, was it? Some team we beat, some small team from somewhere up north. That was quite good. Europa League was back as well. We've got the second return game in Norway to come. And, of course, next Sunday, we're back in Premier League action at Leeds. So lots and lots to get through. And it's all coming up the other side of this. Watch Gabriel Martinelli. It's now with Granit Xhaka. Is it going to be the third goal? It is the third goal. Granit Xhaka with it. That seals it. And we have got a very familiar face and a not so familiar face joining us tonight. First of all, of course, it's Melvin. As always, good to see you again. You okay this week?
Yeah, not too bad. And a nice few weeks, actually. A nice couple of months, haven't we? So I'm just continuing, feeling very happy and content.
Indeed. And making a debut on the show, the long-awaited debut, actually, it is, of course, Jason. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Very well. Pleasure to be here.
And it's very good to see you. And I'm sure if Terry's watching, he does exist, Terry. He is real and he's here. And it's good to see him. Neil will be joining us as well when he's had his, done his hair and stuff like that and had put his makeup on. He'll be with us very shortly as well. I suppose, really, there's only one place, I guess, we can really start, isn't it? Maybe just rewinding 24 hours or so to a little game that happened at the Emirates last night, which was rather good. So as I said there, statement victory, and I believe that's what it was. There's been a few question marks over this Arsenal team. Can we beat the big sides? Have we got that about us? Every team we've beaten this season, it's like, well, we've not played anybody yet. And yes, people will say this Liverpool side aren't the same side of the last few years, but it doesn't matter. It's Liverpool. They were Champions League finalists a few months ago. They got to everything last year, didn't they? And we beat them yesterday, and we fully deserved to beat them as well. But what I thought it was just a fantastic game of football, actually. It was two good sides going toe-to-toe, trying to score goals against each other, trying to win the game. None of this negative defensive football. It led to a really open game. Obviously, 5 goals, controversy, some mad incidents as well, and some lovely play from Arsenal. And ultimately, we got the victory, which was so important for, I say, just for the fact that now I think people are going to start to really, the doubters out there may well start to think, you know what? And I think they are starting to think now, maybe this Arsenal team's got something about them. Still early days, of course, still early in the season. But I mean, Melvin, that was a real statement performance from Arsenal as well, wasn't it? It wasn't just the fact that we won. It was the way that we played. That's probably our best performance, I thought, 90 minutes of the season against a very good side.
Yeah, we've had a better 90 minutes against other teams, but not in that calibre. And believe me, Liverpool are no mugs. I know they're not playing to the top of their ability, but they've got some fabulous footballers in that side. And you can see some of the moves they were doing, some of the body work, the dropping of the shoulders, taking Arsenal out. But there's always Arsenal players covering. There was never a time, I don't think, really, in the midfield, most certainly, when a Barca was isolated. If they got past us, there's always someone else. And as you say, it was a toe-to-toe battle. It was like two heavyweights in the middle of the ring, working it out. And it was really good to see. I mean, I was there yesterday, and again, the atmosphere is just off the radar. And it's kind of funny. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not enjoying it because you get to a point where you're there and you're thinking, we can actually beat this mob. And you've got something to worry about. When we're playing this mob and they're beating us and you're sitting there after 10 minutes, the game's over and you're thinking, well, just go through the motions. But no, it's actually, hope kills you, doesn't it? And every game now, it's like it looks like we can win this game, whoever we're playing. And so and you're saying people might recognise it. I don't care what people think. I prefer them to keep playing us down. The more they play us down, the more psychologically we can play that against.
Unfortunately, though, Melvin, they can't play it down when we're in the position that we're in with the results that we've had. It can't be played down, can it? Now,
well, you can, Richard. You can because there'll always be people to say you've only played X amount of games. You haven't played anyone who plays in green stripes yet. You know what I mean? You haven't played anyone who's got a centre forward over 6'12". There'll always be people to make excuses. So let them worry about that. Let them keep doing that. Listen, at the end of the day, we, in our heart of hearts, we're no fools. It's a minuscule chance of us winning the league. We ain't gonna. Man City are off the radar. It's like when we had our invincible year. Did any other team think they're going to win the league? They probably thought they'd challenge, but not win it. I think we're in that situation now because Man City are so good. I mean, they basically, as good as we are, Man City are like Arsenal. Man City are Arsenal on steroids at the moment, aren't they? They are unbelievable. And if we come second to them, we ought to get a bloody trophy. Or any team that comes second to them ought to get a trophy because that's how it is. But no, we went. The good thing is, we're not getting bullied anymore for the bigger teams. Also we do. And have you noticed we do more of these little cynical fouls here and there that we never used to do?
We do.
All of a sudden, someone comes in, and they're the fouls that the referee can't really book us for. Some obviously you do, it's blatant, but they're just these little ones that just stop the play, and that makes a very, very big difference. All of a sudden, you've taken 30% of the other team's attacking nuance away from you. So all these little things are coming together. It's great. The atmosphere's great. And listen, every game, I want to win every game. But if I don't win every game watching this, I'm still enjoying the football.
Yeah. I mean, and that is one of the big things, isn't it? Over the last couple of years, that's been one of my biggest complaints is that, winning or losing, we want to win, of course. But if you're enjoying watching the team play, then that's 99% of what it's about, isn't it? And over the last couple of years, that hasn't always been the case, has it? Because the football hasn't always been great. But now it's all come together. And the patience that a lot of people have had a bit more patience than others, but that patience is starting to pay off, isn't it, now, for the club, for the fans, everything, and it's all falling into place. But it's still early days. I'm not getting carried away quite yet. I'm enjoying it, but I'm keeping my feet on the ground. I suppose, Jason, when you look at the game, there were a few controversial or so-called controversial incidents, a penalty that we got, that Liverpool didn't get, one or two other kind of incidents that happened. I personally thought, VAR's not been good to us in general, and certainly not in games against Liverpool in the past. So I don't care whether that was a penalty or not. I don't care whether the Gabriel handball should have been a penalty. It wasn't given. It went our way, and we won the game. But no doubt these things happened, didn't they? What did you make of it all? Because there was some controversial decisions given, wasn't there? Let's be honest.
There was a fair few, as you mentioned. I think more or less the referee was pretty fair yesterday. I think VAR did a fairly good job. I think the controversy is when you look at the way it changes from week to week and the way in which other teams across the weekend have had decisions similar to the Gabriel handball or even the penalty that we received. Similar things go in the opposite way. The consistency is the real pain in the ass, really. But I think yesterday we were fortunate. You've always got to look at it from if we had that penalty given against us, the foul on Jesus, would we have been too happy? Probably not. But and the same thing as well, if Jesus played the ball into the hand of Virgil van Dijk or John Matip or someone, would we be calling for a penalty? We probably would. But I think fairly consistent. I agree with the decisions from yesterday, obviously, because they were mostly in favour of us. And as you said, we don't usually get the favourable decisions.
We don't.
I've seen some Liverpool fans today moaning that Martinelli wasn't sent off for just after the cross onto Trent Alexander-Arnold, and it's like, how can you stop that? I saw Dermot Gallagher on Sky Sports News earlier talking about it, and he was under the assumption that all of us were that. Well, how can you stop that? He's got eyes. He's watching the ball as he plays it in incidental contact, and I don't think that's why Trent was taken off either. I think he was taken off because he was getting run ragged, and I don't think he's a very good right back. I think he's excellent going forward, but defensively, I think Trent Alexander-Arnold is lacking majorly. But yeah, going back to obviously the penalty calls, I think Gabriel was too close. I think you can't give that for handball. He's in the middle of a jump. He's lunging. His arms come up to balance himself. How is he not meant to have his arms out to the side? It hits him from a meter away. No penalty in my eyes.
I do agree. I do agree with that. But then on Saturday, I think Brentford got a penalty against Newcastle for a very, very similar incident when it was Dan Burn, I think, jumped for a header. His arm was up, obviously, as he was jumping, and the ball's hitting actually behind his arm. His arm was up, and it's hitting from behind the header. And they gave the penalty for that. And it's like what you went back to before about the consistency. If that's a penalty, then the Gabriel one's a penalty. If Gabriel one's not a penalty, which it shouldn't be, I don't believe, then the previous one shouldn't have been either. And it's like, I think that's where people get confused and fans get annoyed, is when there isn't that consistency, is there? The rules should be the same for everybody, and they don't seem to be like that. Now, go on, Melvin.
I've got a theory.
Don't put your hand up, though, in case the ball hits it. It's a penalty, remember?
No. One theory, keep it all so you get the right decisions, consistent decisions. Have one referee in every game. Same referee.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
So they've all got their different interpretation of the law. That's what the stupid thing is.
But now we've got three referees, haven't we, Melvin?
Any controversial decision that's given for handball, for a foul, for a touch, you could actually the referee can make a case for why he's given it, and you go on, and yet another referee, exactly the same situation, can make a case for not giving it, and that's what's so wrong. It should be black or white. There's too many grey areas in the laws. But
this is what VAR should be for, because you've got another referee to say to the referee on the pitch, look, this was given yesterday. We've got to be consistent. So you've got to give it. Or this wasn't given yesterday. We've got to be consistent with the decisions. And that's what the second referee on VAR should be doing, not just accepting it and saying, well, we're going to yes, each game should be refereed on its own merits. Of course it should. But when there are decisions like that are so similar, and the outcome has got to be the same for everybody, to make it fair. That's what VAR is supposed to be for, isn't it? To make things fair and to get the right decisions. And it isn't doing that, because if one's a penalty and one isn't, one of those decisions is wrong, whichever one it is. Either our one was wrong or the Newcastle one's wrong. Which one is wrong? We need to know which one's wrong. And the referees need to know, so next time they don't get it wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Good. Your theory is good, Richard. The only problem you've got with that is that you're talking about a similar type of person making the VAR decision, a ref again. Yeah. So you've got to get different decisions.
Yeah. No, of course you have. Yeah, they're referees at the end of the day, and they'll be in the middle on the game, the next game, won't they? The one that's in the VAR. I mean, I don't really want to, look too much at VAR in this game, because I don't think that had an influence on the result, really. I mean, our Liverpool fans obviously think it will. I think we were a better team regardless of that. We looked more dangerous going forward. We had the better chances, and we went, as we said before, we went toe-to-toe with the side that were in the Champions League final not that very long ago. So, to me, it's... I don't think we would have got some of those decisions maybe last season, actually. And I think maybe the momentum of the team at the moment is maybe going with us a little bit. And maybe we got those decisions partly on that. And it just seems to be the way it goes, doesn't it? Teams that are doing well at the top of the league tend to get more decisions go their way than teams that are struggling further down the table generally. But that isn't the reason why we won. We won because we were the better team, I thought, for 90 minutes. Well, 100 odd minutes at the game. There's loads of injury time, loads of stoppages, wasn't there? And I thought we were the better team. Yes, Liverpool played quite well. I thought they played well at times. They played some good football, got a couple of good goals. And we still managed to beat them. And to me, that is such a good... It is a statement result. I mean, Jason, you must be... Are you now kind of looking more of the fact that now this is the real Arsenal? This isn't just a run we're on. This is where we are at this moment in time. We are a very, very good side who are going to beat most teams in this league.
Well, yeah.
Or is it still just a run that we're on? That's going to come to an end.
I mean, both, I guess. This is a step of the progress, of the process and the progress that we're on. I think we're building to become more than what we currently are. Obviously, every team wants to do as well as possible. Every team wants to win every game. I think this is clearly part of that process that we've been hearing about since Mikel took over. And obviously, when he got the promotion from head coach to manager, it was because of the belief that everyone in the club is putting into Mikel, into the process, into actually giving him time. If a poor run of results come this season and we end up getting some embarrassing results and losing 4 on the trot, he is secure because we have put that trust into him. I think, this is both a good run of form and part of what we're building towards. We're clearly a different beast. We're clearly playing so much better football. As Melvin said, we're not cowering in the face of the opposition anymore. We were against Liverpool. I mean, yes, again, you could make the argument, it wasn't a full-strength Liverpool team. They had 4 attackers on, 3 of which, Diaz, I don't think has scored past us yet, but he looks dangerous. Jota scores past us all the bloody time. Firmino scores past us more than he should.
Salah.
I know Firmino came on. Salah scores against everybody. Darwin Núñez has opened his account against us. And then you've got Thiago Alcantara, Jordan Henderson in midfield, Van Dijk, Trent, again, I've already spoke about him. John Matip, I don't know if he's better than Konate yet. I'm not sure. Tsimikas, I thought, had a pretty good game for Liverpool, to be fair. Alisson's one of the best goalkeepers in the world.
I thought he was all right. Yeah,
talking about, again, going back to what Melvin said about the pressure in midfield, like when we would soak up the pressure when someone was on the ball, just talking about Tsimikas, that point when we had it on the edge of the box and he stole it off, I can't remember who he took it off, but then he weasels his way through 3 of our midfielders and came out with the ball, and it was like, shit. But then straight away we were on it, bam, won back the ball, and we were back on the attack. Sorry, I kind of lost my point there, but I think we are definitely looking like a better team. I think we are definitely taking big steps in the right direction. And, we're top of the league. Can't ask for more than that, really, can you?
And after 9 games as well. Everyone says don't judge until you get to 10 games. Well, 9 games, we're top of the league, so we can start to judge now where we are,
I think we'll beat Leeds.
Well, let's hope so. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Welcome to the show. Neil, how you doing? Good to see you.
Hey, you all right? Sorry I'm late. Everyone all right?
No worries at all. Good. We're all good.
Happy, content, top of the league, champions. Lovely.
Hey.
Well, we're not champions yet, but we're if the season finished tomorrow, we would be. But unfortunately, it still goes on until about May, so it's quite a long time yet. But I mean, you did mention there, Jason. You sort of mentioned Tsimikas. Obviously, he was playing left back for Liverpool. I mean, we had a rather unusual selection at left back. It seemed unusual before the start of the game. I mean, Neil, I'll come to you since you just come in. What did you make of Tomiyasu starting at left back when Kieran Tierney was on the bench? I mean, it worked to perfection because Salah was in his pocket. But before the game, I was thinking, what is going on? I mean, what did you make of that decision beforehand? And obviously, looking at the game, it worked, didn't it?
Yeah, that was a bit of a shock. I thought, hang on a minute, when did he become a utility player?
Well, even a left back. I mean, he's a right back. He can play centre back, but a left back.
I know. I know. I had no idea he could do that. I didn't know. I mean, so there are people saying that they knew about it. I didn't know, and I was a complete shock. And I thought, what's he doing? This is it risky or what? But my goodness me, what a performance! I mean, I had him as one of the players of the matches. He was absolutely shutting everything out. And I think I may have just heard Jason earlier saying about Trent. He didn't think it was an injury. I think it's because he was just being run ragged. I also think that's the reason why they took Salah off as well, because he had no answers for Tomiyasu. He was absolutely superb. I mean, there was a couple of times when I just saw him do stuff, and I was like, the way he's just shut out that potential attack, and he's playing out of position. I think, what is going on here? I mean, I've always referred to him as the T101, the Terminator, and he's definitely proved it now. And he's honestly, what a performance by him. And it just shows the flexibility now we've got at the back, where so many of the players can potentially be moved around if need be, which then gives options for a couple of those players who could even move into the central midfield position if need be. Like players like Zinchenko, he could potentially do that if we're short. But essentially now we've got 3 quality left backs. Oh, who would have thought that?
I know.
You know,
I
we
know,
were worried
it's
about, you know,
incredible.
Tavares was supposed to be the guy to come in and cover Tierney. And now we've got Tierney.
Third choice.
Tommy
Tierney's now
Asu.
third choice. He's become third choice
I
in like
know.
3 months.
What's going on, Rich? What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. This is a team building, 2 or 3 people in every position. Yeah, we're going to get it. We're doing this year. We're doing, you know what? You know, you don't have to ask me what my prediction is. You know where I'm going.
No, we know what your prediction is. Neil, that's fine.
So no, I was so chuffed. Very surprised, but very chuffed and so pleased for him. But what a just as I've come in late, just what an all-round performance. I think we just very much like Tottenham, we deserved to win the game. I thought we were better over the 90 minutes on both games, and they can go on about, you know, the decisions, what have you. I think we deserved it. We deserved it, and I'm sorry, that was a penalty for me all day long. I don't care. You know, you've got pundits saying it's a soft penalty, but it's a penalty. But so then it's a penalty. Why are you trying to make it out?
Yeah.
If
No, you're right.
it's black or white. You know, it's not. You know, not in the middle or a little bit of this or a little bit of that. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. End of the day. And you know, how many times have we come up the croppers of the wrong end of decisions, especially against Liverpool? And what about the fact that Jesus was knocked out unconscious and nothing was given? Absolutely nothing was given. So sorry, I think we there was a bit of luck and bad luck and good luck for both sides on that game. So I don't want to hear from Liverpool fans saying, "Yeah, you won because of the penalty." No, that's rubbish. We won because we deserved to win, and we are
technically,
showing.
Neil, we did win because of the penalty, because that was a winning goal.
No, but what I'm saying is they're probably making an excuse that if that hadn't been given, then you wouldn't have gone. I think we were good enough to win anyway.
I think we would have won anyway. Yeah,
because they looked tired. They looked absolutely knackered. Because of our youth, because of our exuberance and exhilaration, and all that drive and desire from those youngsters. I think we hit them for 6. I don't think they knew where they were going or coming, and it just shows the way he took those substitutes off. You know, some of their key players coming off because of us. I'm so proud. That's it. It's done.
I mean, you're exactly right what you said about Mo Salah. He didn't get a kick in that game. Well, no, he got one. I think he got past Tomiyasu once in the first half, and that was it. And then he got taken off because he was ineffective. And he was ineffective because of the performance of Tomiyasu, which was an Arteta masterclass. You've got to say, you know, when I looked at that team sheet, I'm thinking, I didn't know if it was maybe a 3 at the back and we were trying something different. I'm thinking, no, surely he's not going to make that many changes in a game like this. But it wasn't. It was just literally playing Tomiyasu at left back. And you have to say, well done, Arteta, for that, because it was a stroke of genius. He must have worked on it. And what I noticed as well, although he's a right back and he's sort of more right-footed, so many times he got forward, put a ball in with his left foot without even thinking about it, just natural. It's like he's a 2-footed player, Tomiyasu. And I'm glad he's back in the team, because, you know, he was a great player for us last season until his injury. And he struggled to get a game this season, hasn't he? Because Ben White's kept his place at right back. And you're thinking, is Tomiyasu going to play much? And he's just shown now, actually, he's as good a left back as we've got, isn't he? Which is great to see. Go on, Melvin.
Well, I don't think that left back is his main position to play in, because if there's 2 or 3 of them vying for position, we're wasting a great talent. I think he's probably the best defender we've got, in all honesty. He's brilliant. He's a pure defender. He knows how to defend. He's clever. He can read the game. He can tackle. He's strong. He's great in the air. Perhaps we're missing a trick. Perhaps giving Gabriel a rest and playing him next to Saliba.
Yeah. I mean, Gabriel he seems to be making a crucial mistake in every game at the moment, doesn't he? The one yesterday led to a goal, the penalty against Tottenham.
He begins to panic. That's the I don't like. He begins to panic.
He's not in a great run of form at the minute, Gabriel, and he's maybe the weak link. But funny enough, last season he was our strongest defender for most of the season, and this season he's become the weakest link, which is not great. And maybe he's the one that could be the change, possibly, or moving Ben White there and putting Tomiyasu at right back. Who knows? They're options, aren't they?
Either way.
Either way, yeah. And I think you're right. I think Gabriel maybe needs a rest out of the team, you know, just to do him some good, not for any other reason particularly. But he looks to be struggling at the minute with confidence. And, you know, I'm a bit concerned. I think he's not far off of getting a red card at some point, because when his confidence has gone, we saw that before, he can make silly mistakes, silly challenges and stuff like that, so which could cost us a game if he does that. So I would be looking at that as a change for the next few games in the Premier League, just to take him out of it a little bit and let him.
He needs a rest anyway. He needs a bit of a rest.
Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah, he's the one, isn't he? You can just tell he's not on his game at all, is he? He worries me every time the ball goes near him at the minute. I mean, he's that. I think Saliba's got him out of trouble so many times in other games where he's made mistakes, and Saliba's covered for him, and it hasn't led to a goal. But obviously, there's some occasions when Saliba can't be two places at once. And yesterday's goal, that first goal, was an example of that, wasn't it? Saliba was going to cover that. Gabriel didn't need to even get that ball. He tried to get it when he couldn't and made the situation worse, and then couldn't get back. And that just sums up how he's playing at the minute. But yeah, I agree. I think maybe that needs to be the change, but we'll see. Terry's in the chat here. Terry says, to be fair, Richard, that Liverpool fan on Talk TV, I don't know what game he was watching. Yeah, I wasn't really sure. I don't think he watched the game at all, actually. He seemed to think Liverpool are going to win the Champions League and come second. Quite what he's basing it on so far. I mean, I suppose they could still, but 14 points we are ahead of Liverpool. 14 points. So, yeah, it's only 9 games in. There's still 31 games to play. But, you know, I don't know. I just feel that is a big gap for Liverpool to make up, you know, at this point in the season. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Terry says there, as everyone knows, I'm not an Arteta sexual, but to be fair, I thought he done really well yesterday, a big improvement. Well, it's every week that you can see the improvements each week, can't we now? And I say that tactical decision to play Tommy Asu at left back was a genius, absolute genius. You've got to say that, you know, whatever your thoughts on Arteta, that was genius. That was brilliant. And, you know, he needs to get full credit for that because that's definitely the way it was. Terry says, yeah, spot on Neil, a pen's a pen. Yeah, exactly. If it's a pen, it's a penalty, whether it's soft or not. We've had loads of soft ones go against us. I kind of agree with Jason. I've always said that. How would I feel if the decisions go against us? I've always based it on that. And if I would be annoyed if it went the other way, then I would feel sorry for the other team. And I think we would all have been screaming for a penalty on Gabriel's handball if it was a Liverpool player. I think we all would have been screaming for a penalty. And we got away with that one, I think, personally, given what happened the day before. The penalty as well, if that was against us, you'd look at it and think, yeah, okay, it was contact. It probably is a penalty, but you'd be a little bit miffed, wouldn't you? But
yeah, you say that,
I don't care.
Going back to what Neil said about, you know, it's a soft penalty. It's either if it's a soft penalty, it's still a penalty. The same way, you can't have half a goal. It's either a goal or it ain't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right, and that's it. If it's a foul, it's a foul, isn't it? Regardless of how soft a foul it is, it's either a foul or it isn't. And that's the thing, isn't it?
Richard, you're too nice because let's do it hypothetically the other way around. Say that was it was the other way around, and Liverpool were awarded the penalty that Jesus was, and we weren't awarded. We were awarded, or they were awarded the handball incident. Say it was all twisted. How many Liverpool fans would be saying, "Oh, you know, I look at it from the other way around. How we you know, feel a bit sorry for them." I don't think there'll be many. Stop being nice. You're too nice.
They wouldn't. I'm sure they wouldn't. But you know, if that had been Mo Salah for the Jesus penalty, we'd have been screaming he's a diver. We'd have been screaming that. We'd have been talking about it tonight. What a diver Mo Salah is yet again, diving against us.
I kind of agree with that. You're right, but I think the thing is, to be honest, when I first saw it live, I thought, oh, it's not going to be given. It's not going to be given.
No,
but then when I saw the replay, when he does actually kick his calf or kicks his shin or whatever it is, there is contact. So if there's contact, isn't the rule of the book now that's a penalty? Surely. All right. It doesn't matter if Jesus was over theatrical with it. The point is there was still contact. So I don't know. For me, it was a penalty. Yeah.
No, I agree. It was a penalty. There was contact. Obviously, Jesus got his foot in front of the Liverpool player. He got the ball, and then he was caught. He was kicked in the back of the foot, wasn't he? So it was a foul, and it would be a free kick outside the penalty area. So it was a penalty, but I think we would all have been screaming that Mo Salah had dived if it was Mo Salah at the end of it.
Yeah, but that's Mo Salah.
I think another
that's football for you, isn't it? That's what we do, don't we? As football fans, we back our team, don't we? And we think things like that. But ultimately, I don't think that was the reason why we won the game. We won the game because we were the better team. We deserved to win the game. I totally agree. And Liverpool, tough luck. We've been on the wrong end of plenty against them over the years, so I don't care. I don't feel sorry for Liverpool. I just think that was those decisions. You could see if they'd gone the other way, then you know they could have gone the other way. Let's be honest; they have gone the other way plenty of times against us, and you know it went our way at this moment in time. We're in a good run of form, and those things seem to happen, don't they? When you're playing well, you just seem to get those decisions go your way. So I'm enjoying it, but yeah, you know that wasn't why we won. I don't think we deserved to win. Now go on, Jason.
I think another irritating thing with penalty shouts, especially like Jesus's yesterday, is we always see the replays in slow motion, and in slow motion everything looks less. You know, I mean, sometimes it can look really bad. It can look worse, sometimes. But it looked really soft yesterday in slow motion. If we saw that from every angle we saw in slow motion at full speed, you can see that as clear he kicks his leg. His leg shifts, because they cut away, the contact is made, and you see a slow motion of the leg slightly moving, and then they cut away to the next shot. If you see that in normal speed, you see how much force goes into Jesus's leg and how much it alters, the movement. So again, like you said, they just need to be consistent. They just need to sort out the consistency.
Exactly, yeah. And that's the thing, isn't it? I think the consistency issue. I mean, it's strange that we kind of talking about decisions that have gone in our favour, because so many times over the last few years we've been only talking about VAR and stuff when it's gone against us, and it's nice that they've gone in our favour. I mean, the way I looked at that penalty was, soft, whatever you want to call it. The referee gave it at the time straight away, didn't he? It wasn't VAR that gave it; it was a referee who was literally 5 yards away. And it's a sort of decision where if he gives it, VAR probably aren't going to overturn it. If he doesn't give it, VAR aren't going to give it, are they? VAR, if he hadn't given a penalty for that, I don't think VAR would have overturned that decision. I don't, because it was one of them ones that they go with the referee at the time. I think we're one of them. It's not one that they're going to say, go and look at the screen, look at it again. They'll just give whatever the referee's got and say, yeah, we're going to stick with that. And I think if he hadn't given it, they wouldn't have given it on VAR. Personally, I don't think they would have done. We'll never know, because he did. And he was close enough to it to make that decision, wasn't he, the referee? He was right there, wasn't he? Literally 5 yards away. So, he did, and that's great. But yeah,
sorry, Rich, keep telling. I promised the last time. The other thing was, I mean, the players, the Arsenal players carried on. They weren't all like screaming and shouting. They just carried on. So I thought that was, I mean, that can be taken as two ways. They probably thought, maybe they thought themselves it wasn't a pen, or they just thought, well, we're not going to be given it, and they tried to still make something of it, which I really liked, because I saw that's the difference I'm seeing in this team. It's just like they're just relentless. They just keep going no matter what, and they'll play to the whistle, which is nice to see, which is something we haven't always done. So I really like the fact that we carried on. There was quite a few passes before eventually it all came to a stop, and then it was looked at. So I quite like that from the team, actually. That was good.
No, yeah. I mean, I agree. I think maybe some of the players that were involved in that, because that came about, the ball was flying around the penalty, wasn't it? Bobbling around. We had shots blocked and crosses flying in, and that happened for a period of a few minutes before. And I just think the players were just so focused on that they didn't necessarily think, is it a penalty or not? But the referee was right there and gave it straight away, didn't he? Which was good. Michael is in from Arsenal Above All. Good to see you, mate. He says, evening all. Can't understand all the soft penalty stuff. There was contact. If he got a piece of the ball, fine, but Thiago didn't. He said, look what happened with Ødegaard on Ericsson at Old Trafford. Yeah, exactly. And contact's contact, isn't it? And that's how it is, and we understand that, and it was given, and we're happy. But yeah, it's a shame that maybe in a way it's a shame that proved to be the decisive goal, because it's a talking point, and people are going to say, oh well, Arsenal were lucky. Well, I don't care if we were lucky. We wasn't. I don't care if people think we were, because we deserved to win that game, as we said, and we played well, and we've gone toe to toe with who were last season the second best team in Europe, because they was the runners up in the Champions League, and we've beaten them, and deservedly so. Maybe we should have beaten them by a few more goals. Actually, would have been nice, wouldn't it? But I mean, it's a great feeling to finally win a game like that when it matters, because last time we beat Liverpool was no crowd in the Premier League, and it was a game where Liverpool already won the league and they wasn't probably that bothered. To beat them, or to beat a team like them with a full crowd in a game that matters, is a massive, massive issue now, and it's something that hopefully we can take a lot of confidence from going forward. And when we play the big games coming up, we've got a lot more big games this season, hopefully a lot more big games, and we can hopefully take the confidence from that. Because I think in the past there was always a doubt. We lost to Man United this season when we shouldn't have done, but there's that doubt there, isn't there? Can we do it against the bigger teams? Yes, we've probably got better teams to play. Liverpool haven't been playing that well. We've got City to come. We've got other difficult games. Brighton are playing well. We've got to play them quite soon as well. So we've got some tough games, and this is going to give us a lot of confidence, I think, to go on. And we beat Tottenham the week before. They're only defeated a season. And now we've beaten Liverpool back to back. I mean, it's great stuff, isn't it? And hopefully we can keep this momentum going. I'm actually, now the closer that we get into this World Cup break, the less I'm wanting it to come, because it's going to disrupt our momentum. If we're still winning games up to that point, and then we have a break for 6 weeks because of the World Cup, what state we're going to come back in? It's like starting a new season, isn't it? And that's what worries me now. At the time, I thought it might be a good thing for us to have a break, but now it's not, because you want the momentum to keep going, don't you? You want to keep playing. And I thought, maybe we should just keep playing our games and everyone else can go on holiday. We'll just carry on playing and keep the momentum going. And so we'll come back after the World Cup. We'll have like a 35-point lead at the top, and they've all got to catch up with the games in hand. That would be good, wouldn't it? But unfortunately, we can't do that because off our players a bit of the World Cup anyway. But yeah, so that was Liverpool. Brilliant stuff. Actually, what we need to do, we just need to make sure that everybody knows. It's just slightly worrying that we're playing so well and Man City are still just 1 point behind us. The way we're playing, the games that we've won, we should be 5-6 points clear, shouldn't we? We're not. But anyway, we're top, and that's the main thing, and long may that continue. Now, of course, in between all these league games that we've got coming up now, the Europa League is kicking in now, regular week after week. So we've got 2 games a week. And we just had 1 game against the Norwegian team, Bodo Glimt, and we've got another one coming up. So let's have a little look at this Norwegian team, which I actually was quite impressed with the other night. It's kind of unusual to see a team come to the Emirates and play football and try to win a game, because most teams in the Premier League sit back, defend, and it's up to us to break them down. Whereas with Bodo, I felt that they came and had a go, didn't they? They played football. They tried to play their normal game. They tried to score goals, and in the end, we won the game pretty comfortably, mainly on our first half performance, which was really, really good. But I thought fair play to Bodo. Their fans were great in the corner in the yellow. They made a lot of noise. They enjoyed their day and the night out, which was great. And obviously, I thought they played well, and I think it's going to be a tricky game. Melvin, what did you make of that on Thursday? Because it was a strange game, because we played really well in the first half. The second half, they were the better team, wasn't they, for long spells, actually? They took it to us, didn't they?
They had a fair amount. I don't know what the stats were, Richard, but they had a fair... Me sitting there, I thought they've got a fair amount of possession for an away.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
They knocked the ball around quite nicely. I think they lacked at the top end of the pitch. They just didn't have any firepower up there. They had a couple of big guys that were there, but they just couldn't do it. No, it was good. It was quite entertaining. It wasn't. I think obviously he didn't feel under pressure at all. But as you say, nice to see a team come to the Emirates and try and play football. We've had 2 on the trot now. So I suppose anything looks attractive after watching the other mob the other week at the Emirates.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So perhaps they weren't that so entertaining. Bodo. Perhaps it was just reminiscing what we had to put up with before. No, it was good. We got them on Thursday. That's an early kickoff, isn't it? That one. So I look forward to watching that. It's good because we can still make a few changes for that game. We won't go mad. We'll make a few changes where necessary, and then go for the next one. Leeds, go for that. But it is important, I'm told, to win the league, because I think we miss out a game if we win. Is that correct?
You miss out a stage, yeah. You go to the last 16, I think, instead of the last 32, whatever it is. Yeah, you miss a round.
It's quite important.
Yeah, it will be very important. Yeah, I would say so, yeah. And let's be honest, when you look at this group, we should be winning it, shouldn't we? Let's be honest, we should be winning it. But, I think Bodo showed enough last week to suggest that on their home ground, which they are this week, it's going to be a difficult game for us, I think, especially if we're playing a very similar team, with the squad players, if you like. Yes, there's some very good players in that group as well, but I think that could be a tricky game for us actually on Thursday over there. It's going to be cold at the Arctic Circle, and the pitch probably won't be the best and stuff like that. So it's going to be a different experience maybe. But yeah, we should win that group, and if we do, it's going to be a massive bonus in the knockout stage, isn't it? To have two games less, which is with our squad as it is at the minute, I think it's going to be a massive plus for us, isn't it, to have less games to play after the World Cup, which is going to be a congested fixture list again, isn't it, with the FA Cup kicking in, and we still might be in the Carabao Cup as well, and the Europa League and the Premier League. It's going to be crazy. So yeah, that will be a massive bonus. We should win the group. Jason, what did you make of Bodo Glimt? A lovely name for a team, a great kit they had, and their fans are amazing. I quite like them actually. They're definitely my favourite Norwegian team, I've got to be honest now.
Yeah, ahead of Mulder, that's for sure. I just, again, to echo what Melvin said, I think they played some pretty good football. I was just looking at the stats there. They actually did have more possession than us, and they did play more passes than us as well. But we had more shots, more corner. Well, they didn't have a single corner in that game. But yeah, no, I think they played pretty adventurous football. I think we looked a little bit sluggish at times. As you said, we looked good in the first half. In the second half, we looked a bit off. I think we'll go with a fairly similar team on Thursday. I don't think we'll make too many changes. Tommy Yasu will play right back. I imagine Tierney will play left back. I'm just wondering, like you mentioned earlier, with Gabriel possibly needing a break, I wonder if he'll play again alongside Rob Holding, or if maybe we'll put Saliba on the left, or maybe we'll try something different altogether. I don't know. But yeah, no, I quite like the look of them. Obviously, was it last season where they beat Roma? They knocked Roma down into Roma down into.
They knocked Celtic out as well in the Conference League. Yeah,
they're clearly no mugs, and their manager has the bravado of, I know how to beat Arsenal, and clearly he ended up with egg on his face, and we'll see how it goes on Thursday. But
got another chance.
But yeah, no, I think they came and gave it a good go. As you said, their support was excellent. Right to the last. And yeah, on another night, who knows? If they managed to get an early goal, it could have crippled our confidence. If we were misfiring, who knows what might have happened. I think the scoreline flattered us a little bit. I'm not sure if it was a 3-0. Obviously it was a 3-0 game. We won 3-0, but yeah, I think we were a bit off the pace, and maybe a little fortunate to control the game as much as we did, and hopefully we can put in a better result, a better performance as a whole on Thursday.
Yeah, I didn't realise the possession stats were in Bodo's favour, because would that not mean 2 games in a row now we've had less possession and still won and scored 3 goals, which maybe suggests that while Arteta gets the impression that his style of play is very possession based, actually the last 2 games we've had less possession, scored 6 goals and won both games, which is actually a real positive, isn't it? Because I'm sure Liverpool had more possession, didn't they, in that game?
Yes. According to the stats, Bodo had 51% possession to our 49, and Liverpool had 56 to our 44. So, yeah. But
unusual, isn't it?
What matters is the scoreline, So
yeah, exactly. But it's good that we can win games both ways, isn't it? Because I've always been a little bit concerned that we were a little bit too one-dimensional with Arteta. We had to play one way and one way only, and if that one way didn't work, then we didn't have an alternative. But it seems as though now we're developing an alternative. In fact, we are a very, very good counter-attacking team. We saw that yesterday. 2 of those goals were brilliant counter-attacks, wasn't they? Fast, incisive, and we've done that in other games as well, not just against Liverpool. And that kind of is the other aspect of the side that we've not. When you're a possession-based team, you don't often get the chance to counter-attack so much because you've got the ball so much. And that was good to see those last 2 games. I didn't realise Bodo. That was very close to Bodo game, 51-49. It's almost equal, isn't it? But to actually have less possession in 2 games running and win both games well and score 6 goals is a really, really positive for me, because that's not what you would have imagined an Arteta team to be able to do on a consistent basis, because that's not, it's a possession-based style, isn't it? Like the Manchester City kind of style. So, but that's really good, actually. I was, that's maybe impressed even more by hearing that Bodo had more possession. I'm sure next week or this week coming up over there in Norway, it'll probably be. I think it'll be maybe more heavily in Bodo's favour, the possession, actually. And we may have to play on a counter-attack again, which looks like it could well work. I thought Eddie did well. Neil, what did you make of the Bodo Glimt game on a whole? And obviously, I just love Bodo Glimt at the minute. They're just my favourite Norwegian team. I'm loving them. I might buy a yellow top just to to celebrate their yellowness. But as long as we win against them again, I'll be even more happy. But they made it fun, didn't they? Actually, they made it a fun night, I thought, and they kind of it was enjoyable, and that was down to them as much as anything. It was great.
It really was. I was lucky to be sitting right in the middle above the set of fans, and I was just watching them.
Yeah.
They were in total harmony, and they were synchronized, unbelievably synchronized. It was really weird having that view, because I was trying to catch one of them out, but they weren't. Every single one of them was synchronized, and the drums going, and it really made for the atmosphere, because for the first time actually in a while, I don't know, Melvin, if you agree, I think our fans were a little bit muted. They weren't as loud. maybe I didn't get the same feeling as I have done in previous games, and I just
it's a different crowd, Neil, isn't it? The Europa League is a slightly different crowd, I think.
I think exactly, yeah, and it is very different. I'm sure I wasn't lucky enough to be at the game on against Liverpool, but I'm sure that from the TV you could hear how amazing that was. So yeah, it's not a criticism. I just thought what made up for that was the Bodo fans. They just added that little bit of atmosphere, and I thought generally the game, I think we were fine in the first half. We had some great moves. I was impressed by Marquinhos right from the off. Vieira, Tierney played well, considering that he's not the favoured first choice anymore. Vieira was great, set up that goal, and and he scored one himself. And the only thing is, I think we kind of just took our foot off the gas second half, maybe because these players don't play enough together. And
that's what Arteta said, didn't he? He said that, didn't he?
That's it. And I think he did say that he wants them to sharpen up they're almost like their telepathy between each other and the movement. And he says that's only going to come with minutes, and it's not their fault. You cannot blame the players.
So he took them off to not giving them minutes to play together.
He did actually.
You complain that they don't play together enough, and then you take them off with 20 minutes to go.
No, I agree. I agree. I thought that was bizarre. When I was watching that, I thought, why is he making these excuses? Because I was worried about them getting an injury, and we've got a massive game coming up against Liverpool. So
when Jesus was coming on, I'm like, no, Jesus, sit down.
Exactly.
We don't need you.
Exactly, Rich. It's like, what are you doing? If he gets an injury, we're in trouble. We need our best 11 on Sunday. Thankfully, nothing happened, but it could have done. And the way Jesus plays, you're like weaving in and out of the penalty. He could easily get injured. I mean, he set up that amazing goal. I mean, what a scintillating run. So generally, I enjoyed it. I mean, now I enjoy anything to do with Arsenal at the moment. Of course, I do. It's just great to see, great to be a part of it. But I have to give credit to the Bodo fans. They were brilliant. I don't normally like to applaud the opposition fans, but I have to give it to them. They made the atmosphere that day. I thought that was excellent. So it was nice to be a part of that for sure.
No, it was. Yeah, I thought they were amazing actually. And we had one in last week, didn't we? What was his name again? I can't remember now. He was in the chat, wasn't he? A Bodo fan.
Steve's friend. Yeah, Steve's mate.
Yeah, Steve's new mate. Yeah, it's a shame he's not in the chat again, actually, because it'd be quite nice to know what he made of it or what he made of his trip to London and stuff like that. But
you haven't got 4 spare hours, Richard, to talk to him about the game, have we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Rajam's in the chat there. He says we didn't win 11-0. No, we didn't win 11-0. No, which somebody did say we was going to win 11-0, didn't they? I can't remember who it was that said that. Now somebody did, didn't they? Was it? It wasn't you, Neil, was it? You didn't say 11-0, did you, against Bodo?
I said 3-1, so I was close.
He was close. Was it Steve said 11-0? I think was it Steve that said 11-0? I'm sure somebody said 11-0. I don't think we ever really thought that we would. Terry said, maybe it was Terry. He normally says some great scores. Terry says, my only worry is the number of chances we don't score from. Yeah, but having said that, we've scored 9 in the last 3 games, so we can't really have too many complaints about that. That's a decent enough run. Actually, no, we scored 12 in the last 4, haven't we? Because we got 3 the game before Spurs as well, didn't we? It was Brentford, wasn't it? Or was there a game in between? Sure. Yeah, it was 3 against Brentford as well. So we're scoring 3 goals a game, which is not bad, is it? I think we'll all be quite happy with that. Yeah, we're missing some chances, but if we're scoring 3 goals every game, that's going to be generally enough to win.
The beauty is that go back a year or two, and if we missed our chance, we weren't going to score any goals. We're making so many chances now. That's the difference.
Yeah, and we're scoring. We might be missing 5 or 6, but we're scoring 3. So who cares?
Yeah.
James has put a comment. He says the possession against Liverpool doesn't indicate we played poorly. Though, look at our XG. We were words. No, I mean I don't think possession ever indicates that you play badly. Some teams set out to play on a counter attack, and Man United are an example of that. And if it works and you win the game, that's what you've done exactly what you set out to do. So you haven't played badly. I'm not saying that we set out to counter attack Liverpool necessarily. I just think Liverpool have more possession. It's just the way that they maybe play the game, isn't it? And we were quite happy at times to let them have it in front of us. They didn't cause us too many problems. And then when we got the ball, we got it forward quickly and we're dangerous every time we went forward, really, wasn't we? We looked really, really threatening. And that's the good thing. That's the big difference, isn't it, I think? James says, I agree with Neil. I love anything Arsenal at the moment. Top of 3 leagues. Yeah, that's true. If 2 Arsenal players spat out a window, and they had a race who trickled down first, I'd watch it. Love it at the moment. Well, I'm not quite sure if I'd quite enjoy that, but yeah, I'm certainly enjoying everything else. Henry says there, good evening, everyone. It's a great feeling to beat Liverpool. I can't stop watching the reviews over and over. No, exactly. It has been great. It was a great win yesterday. It's always nice to beat Liverpool, isn't it? Let's be honest. And even nicer when Klopp comes out crying at the end as well, which is quite nice to see. Terry says, not me, it was 4. I think you did say 4-1, actually. Yeah, I'm sure somebody said 11, didn't you? Was it Rajandra maybe? Did you say 11? Oh, it was you. It was Rajandra said 11-0. There you go. So we're not surprised it didn't come off at 11-0. But anyway, what we need to do actually, obviously, we're playing them on Thursday again away from home. Melvin, what will be your score prediction for that game? I'm not expecting that we'll make a load of changes from the last week's game. I think it'll be quite similar. What are you expecting it to be? It's going to be tough, I think. Do they play on an artificial pitch? Because a lot of them sort of Norwegian teams and Scandinavians have artificial pitch, don't they? Because of the weather.
I think it's going to be very tough. I'll go for a 2-1 win.
A 2-1 win. Well, I mean, a 2-1 win would be great because that would almost.
I'll go for that.
Yeah, that's 2-1. Yeah, 2-1 would be quite good. Jason, what are you thinking for a score prediction for Bodo? Having seen Bodo obviously in the first game, a little bit more about him now. Last week we didn't have a clue what we were talking about, but at least now we've got some idea what to expect from him. I mean, what are you thinking the score maybe away from home?
I think we'll keep a clean sheet. I reckon 2-0. 2-0. I think Marquinhos with a brace.
Good.
Ooh.
Jason, I must say, Jason, I'm glad you're wearing a blue collar because without that, I thought you might have been that Norwegian guy from last week. We were talking to.
Henning, his name was. I just remembered his name was Henning.
Henning, yeah, you might have been Henning.
Yeah, Henning in disguise. Oh, yeah, Henning in disguise.
Just to confirm, they do play on an artificial pitch.
So well done for wearing that blue bit. Thank you.
No, I thought they might because a lot of the Scandinavian teams do, don't they? Because of the weather, if they played on a grass pitch, they'd never play in the winter, would they? Not that their season generally runs through the winter, but it is an artificial pitch. There you go. You see, that's going to add to our issues. It's never easy, is it, playing on an artificial pitch? I suppose. So that makes a difference to the game as well. I mean, Neil, what are you thinking? Having seen Bodo, how do you think we'll get on Thursday?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be. Number one, I didn't know it was an artificial pitch, so
I had a feeling it might have been, but yeah.
So that has changed things a little bit. I think I'm going with what Jason said. I think 2-0. I think we'll just get it. We'll just have enough for them. But it's going to be difficult. And I don't know. It's an unknown artificial pitch. Not sure now. But you know what? Sorry, just going back to one thing I didn't know about. If we finish top, you can skip 2 of the games. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you missed one round out. Yeah, I think they put more teams in this year. I think that's why.
It's the Champions League team that drops down plays second place.
Right.
So they've got to then battle out to get to the next round, whereas top just gets through to the next round.
Fantastic. Oh, we have to go for it then. Oh my goodness, that's been so helpful. Yeah. No, anyway, 2-0. I'll go for 2-0.
Yeah, well, 2-0.
Yeah, I'm still going for 2-1. I'm told, although they've got plastic grass, the cups you get at half time with a tea in it or a drink in it is made of grass. That's what I'm told. I don't know how true it is.
So they've got real cups and artificial grass?
Yeah.
No, well, there you go. That's quite good. We'll have to see what happens there. Terry says, did anyone else notice Richard blames me first? Well, that's because your score lines tend to be a bit like that, Terry. That's why. It tends to be slightly more goals than most people would assume. James just said there, so we'll win 8-0 Thursday. He said to Agenda, because James says Agenda meant 11-0 over both games. Yeah, that's probably what he meant. Yeah, so it's still going to be 8-0 on Thursday then, which would be good, wouldn't it? Agenda says we will still score 3 to keep up our scoring 3 goals per match. Well, yeah, maybe we will. And James says, is it made of Lego? No, that's Arteta's hair. That's made of Lego. The pictures are made of Lego. It's easy confusion to make with the Lego, but that's actually his hair. And James says, oh wait, no, sorry, Norway invented Lego. Hey, not Denmark. Is Denmark invented Norway? Lego, it did. Yeah, Denmark invented Lego. Yeah, not Norway, but it's all the same, isn't it? It's all the same part of the world. But James said, I was hoping, like the women, they would score a good number of goals to get a bigger score, like go and have it. Well, yeah, but they were not a bad side, Bodo. I think maybe we underestimated them a little bit last week. We didn't know anything about them, to be fair, so it's understandable, isn't it? So yeah, but anyway, I think the artificial pitch thing is a worry, not only from the football perspective, but the fact that it can lead to injuries. So I'm hoping that none of the important players play. Saliba, stay at home. Jesus, stay at home. don't travel. You know, Xhaka, don't travel. Xhaka, Partey, don't travel. We don't need to take that risk in a game that, with the rest of the squad playing, we should still be strong enough to get the right result to keep us on top of the group. And you know, we know how important that is. So yeah, I would not want to risk too many of the main player or the big players that we need on an artificial pitch where, you know, there's a risk of injury. So that may have an influence on the result. I say I was impressed with Bodo. I thought they played well, and I kind of almost wanted them to score at the end, just because I thought their fans deserved the goal to cheer, really. But I think they might well get one on their home pitch. They'll know how to play on that pitch a lot better than we will. I think they will score. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with Melbourne. I think 2-1. I think we'll have enough for them to win. I think they will score, and I think it'll be a tough game on a difficult surface in difficult conditions, and it'll be probably quite cold. Terry says there, sorry chaps, I've got to go to work at 9. Have a great show. See you all soon, Richard, Magic, Neil, Jay, Neil, and all in the chat. Yeah, see you soon, Terry. Take it easy. We're doing the watch along of the England game tomorrow. It's the Lionesses against Czech Republic. If you're around for that, it'd be nice to see you. Rajendra says it depends on if it's third or third gen pitch. They're very third or fourth. Yeah, I know there's a difference, isn't there? The newer ones are better. I mean, I play 5-a-side on a Thursday, and one of the pitches we used to play was horrible. Literally, your feet are knackered within 10 minutes of playing, whereas the newer pitch is actually better. It's a little bit more giving it, and it's actually all right. So I'm sure it'd be a decent pitch. But even so, it's still not ideal, is it? You're better off playing on grass. Like, let's be fair. And I do think that will make a difference to the game. But yeah, I think we're all confident that we can win. And then a win in that game puts us pretty clear at the top, doesn't it? And puts us in a really good position with the 2 PSV games, which you would say the 2 PSV games are potentially the toughest games in the group, aren't they? Home and away against them. We get 4 points from them 2. If we beat Bodo, we've pretty much won the group. Well, we have won the group if that's going to be what we do in them. So, but yeah, let's hope that's the case. And then we can maybe relax for that last game against Zurich in the final group game. We can, you know, play a few more of the kids and not have to worry too much because we've won the group already. Now, of course, after we go to one freezing cold Northern Outpost, we then got another game at another freezing cold Northern Outpost a few days later. So not quite as far north, but it's still cold and it's still up north. Leeds, of course, on Sunday. They've had a bit of a mixed season so far, haven't they? They've been a bit up and down. They've had some good performances, some good results. They've maybe had a few poor results as well thrown in. I suppose they're coming to terms with their new manager, different style of play they're trying to play and whatever. 1 or 2 new signings as well. Obviously, we had a great result at Leeds last season, didn't we? That was at Christmas time, freezing cold, wasn't it? It was a freezing cold Outpost at North last year when we played them, but we did win that game pretty easily. Johan in the chat there says dirty Leeds indeed. Yeah, dirty Leeds. That's exactly what they are. They've always been dirty Leeds, and they'll always remain dirty Leeds. But it is a game, again, it's a game we're going to be favourites to win, aren't we? It seems to be like that every week at the minute, mainly. And it's... I think, again, it's going to be a tough game. I think there's a good atmosphere at Elland Road. The crowd are always up for it. They're always loud. They get behind their team. And they have got some good players. And they do play some good football. And I don't think it's going to be an easy game. It's one that it's another test. Away from home, it's a big test for us. I say we had a good result there last season. We've historically, certainly in recent years when we've played them there, we haven't, obviously, not been in the Premier League that long, but in previous games before, we've got a good record there. We haven't lost at Elland Road for a number of years, quite a long time actually. So it's a good ground for us. But I say it's potentially could be a tough game because I think they're playing some good football at times this season. I quite like what they're doing. And their manager seems like quite a fun guy, doesn't he? Jesse Marsh. He seems like he's quite a character. I mean, Melvin, what are you making ahead of this Leeds game? Because obviously it's important that we win it now. We need to keep winning to keep ourselves top of the league. But you know, we've got Thursday in Norway, a trip over there, trip back again, another away game. It's a tough schedule, isn't it, this week?
It is going to be very tough against Leeds. I mean, as you say, the crowd, I've been there so many times at Elland Road, the crowd are really behind the team, wherever they play. Yeah. It's a very intimidating place, Elland Road. And if you're not mentally up for it or physically up for it, you're going to lose. Hopefully, we've got over those bumps in our past now. We can match teams physically and we can match teams mentally. Don't, be up for it, go in, to get the job done and get out, because that's what it's like with Leeds. You don't get.
Yeah.
I know it looked easy last year. I think Martinelli got a couple, didn't he? Got a couple of great goals.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But I think you've got to really, you very rarely get an easy game there. You've got to really work hard. I've seen us go up there when we were really, really riding high and struggle a few times in the past. I've been up there, as I say, loads. I've got friends in Leeds, and loads of times I've been up and watched us, and it's like, oh my God. You think you're going to have it. Even when we're going for the league that time, and O'Leary was the manager.
Yeah, they beat us. Yeah.
No reason on earth why they would want to challenge us in that game, and they gave everything. They gave everything, and they beat us.
Yeah.
So no, it's going to be tough. We forget about what we've done this season. Forget about anything else. Just go into this game, go in with the same attitude, physically and mentally, and we should be all right.
Yeah, I mean, we should, but the Premier League, there's no easy games in the Premier League these days, is there? Every game's competitive, especially away from home. But we've been playing really well away from home. Actually, we're not conceding goals. We've been very solid. In fact, apart from the Manchester United game, it's clean sheets everywhere else, isn't it? Away from home this season, so we're looking really solid. We set up well away from home, and that is looking in our favour again, isn't it? In a game that I say we are going to be. Favourites, obviously to win. Regenda says they're not the 70s Leeds with Billy Bremner. No, they're not, and it's not quite as intimidating as maybe back then, as Melvin probably remembers a lot more than we do. But yeah, they were proper games against Leeds, then weren't they, Melvin, in the 70s and the 60s?
Phenomenal. Yeah. In fact, on Wednesday, I'll be talking about a home game we had against Leeds when the year we won the double. And I've got to tell you, it's one of the best 0-0 draws I've ever seen. Wonderful, wonderful game. And I remember against Leeds, I mean, they kicked you before you even got out on the pitch.
Johnny Giles, he was another one, wasn't he? Johnny Giles, like getting stuck in, didn't he?
Yeah. But the trouble was, they were a brilliant team. I don't know why they had to do that. They were phenomenal. Unbelievable. But anyway, let's do the job on Sunday, eh? 2 o'clock.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it isn't the same Leeds from the 70s, but even so, it'll still be a tough game, I'm sure. I mean, Jason, what have you made of Leeds this season? What are you expecting from them as much as anything else? I mean, that they're at home, they're going to want to win the game. They need to get some points on the board as well, don't they?
Well, you look at their last 5 fixtures and they've picked up 2 points. Since beating Chelsea at Elland Road 3-0, they've picked up 2 points. But that's 3 losses away from home and 2 home draws. So you look at their home form and it's 5 points from 3 games, which isn't too bad at all. But yeah, I think we've got enough. I think, like Melvin said, if we just get at them, I think we've got more than enough firepower to break them down. But then at the same time, they have got firepower themselves. They've got speedsters. They've got Rodrigo, who I really liked when he was at Valencia. I was actually quite surprised when Leeds signed Rodrigo. I thought that was quite a coup, to be honest. And he hasn't really, done anything too special there yet. But I would be playing him ahead of Patrick Bamford every day of the week, So I think he's probably one of their biggest threats. If we can keep him quiet, I think we can potentially win the game. And if they play him as the number 10 and Patrick Bamford ahead of him, I think if we nullify Rodrigo, we pretty much nullify the game. And we can just take it to them. But I think we have to start quick. We have to start aggressive, and we have to just play our football and just get in their face and just make sure that we just outpass them, outplay them, just beat them in every area. Have Martinelli put in his Energizer Bunny batteries and just keep going and going and going and going. Saka's finding form at the right time now.
Yeah,
looked a bit off at the start of the season. Not off, but to Bakayo's standards, he didn't look, and now he's really starting to fire, and it's coming at a perfect time. And hopefully a good result on Thursday can lead us in good stead to the weekend. I mean, obviously it'll be a much changed team. I do probably think, I don't know how Zinchenko's doing, but I do probably think we'll play Tomiyasu at left back again. I think Tierney will come on and look dangerous. He's got an eye for goal at the moment. I know obviously he hasn't scored, but he's had a couple of very decent attempts. Obviously he smashed the post against Bodo Glimt, and Eddie knocked in a beautiful rebound. I think we just need to get at them, and I think we've got more than enough to beat them, to be honest. But they will be tough. They have been tough at Elland Road, and they always are, obviously. But
yeah. I mean, that's I didn't really realise their home record was actually as strong as that. Obviously, I remember they did beat Chelsea. I know that wasn't a great Chelsea performance that day, but they've not lost at home for a while, so that's going to make it extra tough as well, isn't it? But yeah, we kind of knew they'd be good. On their own pitch, I'll say the atmosphere there is generally good, especially when Arsenal play. I think that is a kind of throwback from previous years, isn't it? I think Leeds still look on Arsenal as a rival, don't they? Because of stuff that's gone on before. Every time I've been there, it's been like that, and I think they look. It's a big game for Leeds playing Arsenal, isn't it? And I think that they'll be bang up for it. There's no doubt about that.
Ramsdale will be getting pelted with £2 coins again.
Yeah, he may well be. Yeah,
that's what happened last season, wasn't it?
Yeah, he might do. Yeah, because he's from that neck of the woods, isn't he? Actually, where he was, and of course he played for Sheffield United as well, didn't he? We take far away. That's sort of rivals them, isn't it? So I suppose he's not going to be flavour of the month again, is he? I suppose. But anyway, hopefully he can focus on his game, because that's the most important thing, and because that's what he needs to do. But yeah, I agree. I think it is going to be difficult. There's no doubt about that. I mean, what are you sort of making ahead of this Leeds game then? Because at the moment we're going into every game expecting to win, aren't we? Let's be honest, we are, because of how well we're playing, and we expect our team to win. But it's not going to be as straightforward as maybe some of our more recent away games, because I think Leeds are a different opponent. They start.
They are. We've got as you guys have touched on earlier. We've got this history with them. So we've had some classic FA Cup games and bouts with them, and it's not. They. I think you're right. They do see us as rivals, 100%, and the fans are going to make it so intimidating for the players. They'll do everything they possibly can in their power to make it very, very uncomfortable. It's going to be a tough game, and especially if the weather's not great, it's going to be even harder for them. But I think. Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that we're top, and I love the fact that we're favourites. But I've always found that we are better as underdogs. I've always found that with our team. So I'm not quite sure I'm comfortable with that going along every game in, game out. But we take it. We'd rather have that than anything else. I think it's going to be a very tough affair. I think it's going to be a very dogged affair. I'm just concerned that we don't, suffer any ill injuries from that game, because I think it's going to be very, very physical. But you know what? I think our players are up for it. I think they're giving as good as they get now. We didn't have that before. I think we were quite a weak and made of glass kind of team. I think we're a lot stronger now. We've got some big guys in there, and I think they'll protect the others. And I think they play for each other, which is huge. And I think Jason's right. I think we need to hit, as we've done in most games, just hit it right from the off, really fast. Because if we can do that and then, possibly convert a couple of chances very early, I think that will probably finish them off quite early in the game. And then we can take our foot off the gas a bit and be a bit careful. But I think it's going to be very, very difficult. But I will still say that we'll win it. And it's a great chance for something quite, which is going to be quite rare this season. I've got my fingers crossed that Liverpool will give Man City quite a good game. I don't know why. I think I've got I mean, they're obviously the big rivals at the moment, and they're playing each other on the weekend as well. And if Liverpool can take a couple of points off City and we win, that gives us that extra little buffer. So I think that makes the game even more important. I mean, they're all important, don't get me wrong, but that makes it just that little bit more important for me. So yeah, we've got to do everything that we can to make sure that we bag the points. And it will be a nice statement again to win another game away, because obviously we've been at home for a couple of games and maybe got used to that atmosphere. Now we need to test ourselves and face to face the away fans and face a different surrounding. So that will be interesting. And can I just say before I finish very quickly, I think we should have given a shout to one player who played against Bodo, was Rob Holding. I thought he was really good. I thought he played really well. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but I thought he did the job and he was great against them. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Rob Holding. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Leeds game.
No, I mean, you're right about Rob Holding. I mean, he's not really let us down in those Europa League games. He's played a lot of them in recent years, hasn't he? In the cup games and stuff. And he always steps in and does well. I just feel that in the Premier League, if we had to play him on a more regular basis, then it's not going to be great, is it? And, he steps in and does a job when he has to. But that's what he is. He's a squad player, isn't he? And he does well in those games. I'm sure he'll play Thursday again, and I'm sure he'll play well. But I wouldn't really want him to be in the team at Leeds, if I'm honest, unless we had major injuries and we had no choice, but I'm sure he wouldn't be. But no, I mean, I think it's going to be a really difficult game. And you're right, 2 away games back to back. You know, we have been at home a lot recently. And yeah, two difficult opponents, different sort of opponents, you know, different conditions, different pitch and all this kind of stuff. I think it is a big test for us. And the one thing this season that we haven't done, and when we talk about starting fast, we've been doing that every single game. We're getting ourselves the first goal, we're getting in front, and then we're able to control the game. The only game this season that we've gone behind in is the only game we've lost. And that is something that I want to see. Well, I don't want to see us go behind, but we are going to go behind inevitably. We're not going to score first in every single game. We are going to fall behind in games. And I want to see that we can deal with that and still get the right result, whether it's a win or a draw away from home. You'll take a draw if you're behind, I guess, in most away games. But, you know, we haven't experienced that very often this season because we are starting games so strongly and we're getting in front. So,
Right.
No, go on, Melvin.
I'm not too worried about that because it's not as if we went behind against United and got beat straight away. We got back in the game. Had we gone 1-0 down and then gone 2 or 3-0 down, yes, we never got back. We were strong enough to get back into the game, and possibly we had a chance to go do better than that, right? I just think that what the difference is this season so far is that within the games is that when things go against us, we can actually go, something I've said for years that we can't do, we go the other way. We've gone from the second gear to third and fourth we can go to. That hasn't happened for years. Well, what happens is we hit we might start off at third gear, all of a sudden, that is the top. And all of a sudden, we just go down and down. Nowadays, even if we don't start 100%, during the game, if need be, we take it up a notch. And that is such a big difference to our game. I don't know how we've done that, but it's a very, very big and great difference to our game and puts us where we are.
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, we are generally starting well now, aren't we? Most games this season, we've started like an absolute rocket, haven't we? For the first 10, 15 minutes, we've flown into teams and we've generally got a goal, haven't we? First 15, 20 minutes, we've usually scored most games this season. I don't know what the stats are for that. I'm pretty sure in most of the games we've scored in the first 20 minutes. You know,
but how many times, Richard? How many times this season against Spurs it happened? Against Liverpool it happened? When teams have equalised, it Leicester against us, we went up a notch, up a notch, up a notch.
Yeah, we did.
That is a very big factor, in my opinion.
It is, but again, I think conceding an equaliser is a different mindset to going behind. You know, we've only gone behind once, and that was a game we did. Yes, we did come back to get an equaliser, and we were in the game, and then we conceded 2 soft goals. But you know, it's going to, as the season goes on, we're going to fall behind a lot more, aren't we? Because we're not going to score first.
The point I'm trying to make with the United game is years gone by or months gone by, going 1-0 down away at the United game would have been over. It wasn't over.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. No, we did show a lot of character. We've shown a lot of character in most games this season. I agree, but you know, it's seeing if we go behind at Leeds and we lose again, then to me that's starting a little trend that we don't want to see. We want to see us go behind and come back and win the game.
If we go behind and if we lose, don't worry about that. If it happens, it happens. But let's just.
Well, it does. We don't want it to. I like to see the response that I've been liking what you said. Against Tottenham, we conceded an equaliser, came back stronger. Liverpool, we conceded 2 equalisers and come back strong. And they're good signs. Leicester, like you said, that we conceded, scored straight away. Against Fulham, we were 1-0 down, wasn't we? Came back, equalised and won the game. All these things have happened. Oh no, Fulham, that's the other game we went behind. We did go behind against Fulham and won, didn't we? So we have done it previously as well this season. So, but yeah, that's the real character that we started to show. But yeah, I want to see that continue because that's going to be so important.
Yeah.
We mentioned him earlier, and look who's in the chat. It's our friend Henning from Norway. How are you doing, my friend? Hope you enjoy your trip to London.
I've got to go to bed tonight, Richard. I can't do this.
It's Henning. Leave him alone. He's a good lad, Henning. He's a good lad,
but you know.
Do you think the same 11 who started at the Emirates v Bodo Glimt will start in Bodo? Yes, I would. We think probably very similar. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if there's too many changes from that, depending on fitness issues. But yeah, I'd expect the same starting 11 from Arsenal, and I think it's going to be quite a similar game. But different in the fact that you're at home and you know you're going to maybe be more of a threat in front of goal, perhaps. But I hope you enjoyed your trip to London anyway. Your fans were amazing, actually. We did.
The team were good as well.
The team were good as well. Yeah, I enjoy watching your team play. They play good football. It was entertaining. The fans were great, and I'm sure it's going to be another entertaining game on Thursday. Hopefully, we can win. We've got Bodo in the chat as well. He says, "Hey guys, very exciting times at the moment." Indeed, it is. He said we were slicing, dicing, chopping, and cooking Liverpool. Well, yeah, we did most of that game. I agree. They had moments as well, but yeah, it was great to see Arsenal play so well against a good side, and they are a good side. There's no doubt about that. Anyway, we need a score prediction for Leeds because I'm looking forward to what we all think about this because we know it is going to be tough. Coming back from Norway, Europa League away games, and then a away game in the Premier League is often a recipe for disaster. We've seen it before, not just with Arsenal, with other teams as well. So, Melvin, what are you thinking? Leeds on Sunday. What is your score prediction?
2-0.
Oh, a 2-0. Good stuff. A 2-0 away. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? We will take that all day long. Jason, what are you thinking for Leeds?
I think if we manage to start well and get an early goal, I think we could batter them. I think we could get 3 or 4. But I think if we don't, 1-0. So if we start well, we'll carry on at them. If not, 1-0.
Okay, well, I mean, at this moment in time, any win will do. As Neil mentioned, Liverpool playing Manchester City, so there's Anfield, there's a prospect of Man City dropping some points. So any win will do us because it gives us a bit more of an advantage. Neil, what's your score prediction? Anything silly this week, or is it going to be a nice normal?
But it's moderate silly. Well, I would say it's silly. I think Jason's onto something there. I'm going to follow it through on his more positive part, and I'm actually going to say 5-1.
5-1.
I think we're going to tear them apart. I think it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be a tough start, and then we're just going to tear them apart. But, yeah. 5-1. Seriously, I'm going 5-1. I haven't had a silly one for ages. Come on, give me. Let me have some.
No, you can have a silly one all you want. I mean, 5-1 away at least. I mean, if we win 5-1, that would be absolutely incredible. I've got to be honest because
I think we've got it in our. I think Michael said it on his show. He said there's going to be a time where we're going to just take a team apart because we're playing so well and we're connecting so well. Our players are just so balanced and so driven. There's going to be a time that one team is just not going to be able to live with us, and we're going to convert all our chances because in every game we've created loads of chances. We've only converted a handful, as you guys have said earlier. And I just think that we could. I think Leeds could be the game we'll get lucky, and I think we're going to because we've had so much tension building up for both the Tottenham game and the Liverpool game back to back, and I think they're just going to unleash against Leeds. I really do believe it. 5-1.
Well, no, well, I mean that's very optimistic, but yeah, very good. We'll love a good 5-1, I'm sure. Henning says they really enjoyed the trip. That's good to hear. I'm glad you did. He says amazing being at the Emirates. Thank you for the nice welcome from the Arsenal supporters. Everyone we met was very nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the fact that we beat you made us even nicer. But no, Arsenal fans are very nice. There's no doubt about that. You don't need to worry. And I'm sure that you guys will offer us, our fans, the same hospitality in Norway on Thursday. And, nice warm cups of tea will be nice as well, because I'm sure it's going to be freezing cold over there.
Can you ask Henning a question? Can he supply us, the club, our Arsenal, with some boots to wear on the pitch, please? Because we ain't got any boots to wear on that pitch, have we? We need special boots.
On the special pitch? Yeah, some special boots. Or maybe, I think it might be special socks that you need, actually, rather than special boots, really. It's a special socks to stop your feet from kind of getting blisters and stuff. So, but yeah, maybe we'll have to supply them. That'd be nice, yeah. So head in, get your club to give us the right equipment so we don't get injured on your pitch, please, because we've got big games to come and we want to keep all our players fit if we possibly can. That would be nice. Obviously, I need to give my prediction for Leeds. It is going to be, I don't like playing away in the Premier League when we've been away in Europe. I just don't like that run. I know sometimes it has to happen, but yeah, I expect us to win because I expect us to beat everyone at the minute. I think it'll be a tough game. I'm going to go 2-1. I think it'll be 2-1. I'm not quite as optimistic as Neil. I think we'll have too much for them, but I think we'll have to work really hard for it. I think it's going to be a tough game, and we're going to have to play well and to get the result. But we've got a decent record there, and I think that'll ultimately see us through. And let's hope that. I mean, what are we thinking for Liverpool, Man City? Then, do you think Liverpool are capable of beating them? Shall we say to end their unbeaten run? That'd be nice, wouldn't it, Melvin?
It'd be lovely. It'd be lovely.
Well, if Liverpool can score 8 goals, they've got a chance.
Yeah, that's like every team playing Man City at the minute, isn't it? That is the problem that everyone's got, isn't it? Really, God. I suppose. But I mean, that would be great, wouldn't it? They're playing after us, though, aren't they?
Yeah, 4 o'clock. I think. What 4:30 is it?
4:30. Yeah, we're at 2 o'clock, aren't we? So we don't know their score first, which is a little bit annoying. But I suppose that's the way the fixtures have gone, isn't it? So we just need to win, and that maybe puts a little bit of pressure on Man City because if we win, we're 4 points above them, and it puts them means not that they'll be worried particularly, I suppose, because they probably think that they're going to catch them points up anyway. But it just has a little bit more pressure, doesn't it? When you've got more of a lead on, then 1 point's not a big lead, is it? And if we're only 2 points above them going into that game, that they know that they'll go top if they beat Liverpool. So I don't know. I know Man City aren't worried about us.
It's the game at Anfield. Is it at Anfield?
Yeah, Anfield. Yeah,
I think that might be. I don't know. I think that might be quite a difficult test for Man City. I don't know.
Of course it will. Yeah, be a tough test for them. I mean, Haaland might only score 2 or 3 in that game.
Oh God's sake!
They should make him play with his bootlaces undone.
Tie bootlaces together. That's what I need to do.
But I'll tell you what, I don't think you're saying that they'll play after us. I don't think Pep will be losing his sleep Saturday night, do you?
No. Well, not because of us. He might be because he's playing at Anfield, and that's a difficult game for Man City, isn't it? But no, I don't think Man City are that bothered about us or anybody else. I think they know that if they play to their level, they'll win the league by quite some comfortable distance, probably. But anyway, who knows? Who knows what can happen? Haaland might end up getting a dry spell, mightn't he? He's got 20 goals already. It's October. He's got most guys are happy with 20 goals in a season.
Richard, he is 8 goals off the Golden Boot from last year, I think.
I know he is already. It's October. It's ridiculous. I mean, 20 goals. Oh, that's just incredible.
He's going to rewrite every record, isn't he? He's going to rewrite.
You wait till he gets acclimatised to the English game as well.
Oh, don't, Milton.
You wait till he starts having more than 10 touches in a game, which is about all he's having at the minute, and he's still scoring all them goals. Imagine what he's going to be like when he actually starts playing. It's like, really? I mean,
he's definitely going to get 50, isn't he? He's definitely.
Well, if he doesn't get injured, he might even break the top flight record, 60 goals, isn't it? Which was in the 1930s or something.
Wow.
16, 1933 or something it was, right?
He could even beat that.
He could beat that. He could. The rate he's going, he will beat it. If he can score at this rate, he will beat it, won't he? But
what a player.
It is just incredible, isn't it? Anyway, Henning's back. He says, absolutely, I've heard it is a higher chance of getting injured on the artificial pitch than on grass. But I don't really know what to use or what not to. It's to do with the socks. It's definitely to do with the socks inside your boots. That's what it is. So, I'm sure Arsenal know what they need to do. But I think it's different shoes for artificial pitch. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, you have to wear different studs. You can't wear like metal studs. But anyway, it's all to do with the socks for me. And Henning says, Haaland will beat Liverpool. I can promise you that. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he will. And obviously, he's your fellow Norwegian, isn't he? So I'm sure you want him to continue doing well. But yeah, I'm sure Liverpool won't worry him. The Liverpool defence that we just played, I'm sure he's not going to be losing sleep over facing them, is he, Haaland? Let's be honest. But anyway, we don't need to worry about Man City. I said that yesterday when I was on Talk TV. We're not worried about Man City. If we keep winning our games, they can't catch us. We just need to win another 31 games. That's it. That's all we got to do. Simple as that. And we win the league. And I don't care. I said yesterday, Man City can win every game 12-0. We win every game 1-0. We'll still win the league.
Correct. So,
tough luck, Man City. And you can score 1 million goals, Haaland. It won't matter when you finish second, mate, will it? You won't be laughing then, will you?
This is the Richard I like.
Yeah.
You want to talk TV again, Richard?
Oh, well, it was good. Yeah, I'm becoming a regular now, Melvin. I'm telling you.
Wow.
I'll be getting a regular show on this soon. Anyway, Colonel says he's a good player, but he's no Francis Jeffers. Well, he certainly isn't a Francis Jeffers. That's a definite fact. I 100% agree with you. He definitely isn't. He's no Francis Jeffers. Indeed, he's not. He was our fox in the box. Do you remember when he was billed as our fox in the box? Francis Jeffers
supposed to be,
and he scored about 5 goals in 2.5 seasons, didn't he? So that was really good. That worked out well.
Was he from Everton? I can't remember. Was he Everton?
Yeah, he was. He was Everton. Yeah, that's right. He was. Yeah. I mean, I can understand in a way why we bought him. It just didn't work, did it? He ended up being the kind of 2000 version of Lee Chapman for me. Looked like he might end up being a good signing for us and turn out to be absolutely useless and a complete waste of space. But there you go. It happens. These things happen. He just, he's one of them ones that we can put behind us and say, yes, he did play for Arsenal, but we don't really want to remember that he did, but he did for a little while.
Slightly.
I do remember him getting a good goal in the FA Cup against, was it Chelsea or somebody? He scored one, didn't he? That was a good goal. I seem to remember him getting, actually.
I don't think that's a fair comparison, him and Chapman. Jeffers had bad injuries with us, and he didn't get a chance because look at the forward line we had anyway. Chapman forward for us. He was poor, Chapman. You must remember.
No, Chapman was poor. He was dreadful. There's no doubt about that. But I didn't think when Jeffers played, he didn't. I mean, yes, he was up against some very, very good players, and maybe that didn't help him. You know, when you've got Thierry Henry, and the next game you've got Francis Jeffers playing in a League Cup, it's a bit of a comparison, isn't there? That you maybe, you know, didn't look good on Francis Jeffers, maybe, but I just didn't think he was very good at all. But
that wasn't a great transfer window, was it? We had Richard Wright in goal, didn't we?
Oh my God, he was terrible, wasn't he?
He won the top of the
left. He could never make it at Arsenal on the basis he let in a goal against Spurs, a silly one in the last minute away from home when we drew 1-0 and Perez got a goal. Yeah,
but that was actually he had to play, didn't he? Because David Seaman was still there, wasn't he? And he was injured, wasn't he?
No,
and Richard Wright came in and he had a run of about 10 games, didn't he? And he was terrible in all of them. He let in stupid goals. There was Charles beat us 4-2 at Highbury. He made about 3 mistakes. We drew 3-0 with Blackburn or somebody. He made 3 mistakes in that game. Every single week we're having to score 4 or 5 goals just to compensate for him being so useless. And then finally David Seaman, he's got a double. He won that. He got a league title medal.
He got a double.
And he almost cost us that league title, let alone winning it for us. He almost cost us it. He was.
And then he sorted
it off in spite of him.
Yeah, we did. Well, the following season, he went back to Everton, didn't he? Richard Wright, and we scored 7 past him at Highbury. Do you remember when we beat Everton 7-0 and he was in goal? I'm thinking, you haven't got any better, mate. But that was good. I remember that. Yeah. So, but yeah, didn't we sign that? Was it a Japanese player we signed that window as well, Melvin? Was that at the same time? Or was that another time?
You're thinking about Inamoto. You're talking about Inamoto.
Might have been Inamoto. Yeah.
I don't think it was. No.
Did he not come at that sort of time? Because that was when the World Cup was in Japan. I'm sure we bought a Japanese player around the time when that World Cup was in Japan as some sort. It looked like some sort of promotional stuff for Arsenal in the Far East. I'm sure that's what happened. I'm sure we had. I don't know if it was Inamoto. I'm sure we had somebody.
We did. I think we got 2. It might have been the other one. That we got 2 or 3. I remember.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
I know
it literally was a marketing ploy. It was so obvious.
Because it was the time of that World Cup, wasn't it? When the World Cup was in Japan and South Korea. It was around then, wasn't it? Yeah,
exactly
I seem to remember that, yeah. But anyway,
all these... We've messed up Arsenal. We've missed a trick. We should have bought someone from a famous football from Qatar this time, shouldn't we? For a marketing trick.
Yeah, we should have done, yeah. I'm sure there is one somewhere.
I'm sure there is out there.
Yeah, I'm sure we could have found one, given him the number 9 shirt and never played him. That's what we should have done.
That would have been a great marketing trick.
Colonel says, and just to imagine, he helped City win it, of course, if they needed their English players filled. Oh, yeah, did he get City, did he, and win a title medal at City? Wow. Who would have thought, eh? There you go. It goes to show, doesn't it? But yeah, I mean, we could actually do a whole show on terrible Arsenal signings, couldn't we? In fact, we could probably do a whole week's worth of shows on terrible Arsenal signings because there's been so many of them. But we've got through a few there, haven't we? I'm sure there'll be a load more. That's a good Melvin, that's a good idea for a show, you know. That's a good idea for a future show. Terrible Arsenal signings.
It should be the title of the show, Why?
Why? Yeah, that was.
Well, it's a bit like we thought about doing the Arsenal villains and heroes, didn't we? So villains and heroes.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I mean, there's loads of things we could actually do shows on, isn't there? When you think about it, loads of stuff. Talking about good shows, Melvin. You are back on Wednesday, aren't you, with the Highbury Matters show this week? So early 70s, you said, is it? We're on the early 70s now.
Yeah, 70, 71, 71, 72. Got a great guest. Spoke to him the other day. Really up for it. Sounds fantastic. The guy. So really looking forward to it. Should be good. There's some very, very famous matches we're going to talk about. Those and some very famous things that have happened as well that people may or may not have known about. So as always, I'm looking forward to it. So if people like it half as much as me putting it on, then great.
Well, it certainly seems to. It seems to be getting some great feedback, that show, and it's been fantastic. And also as well, it's kind of good that we're doing the early 70s this week when we're playing Leeds, because obviously Leeds are our main rivals then, wasn't they?
Correct.
In the league, in the FA Cup and all kinds of stuff. So it kind of worked out well, hasn't it? It's a good week to be looking at the early 70s when we play Leeds.
So a good little what they call it, a link or something they call it in the
yeah, it kind of ties in pretty well, doesn't it, with the game, which would be really good. So that's on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. So definitely come and join us for that, because that is an amazing show. Great memories of the days at Highbury, and obviously this particular show involves a few trophies that we won as well, which is nice. So that's always makes it even better, doesn't it? We can talk about some great days with trophies at the end of it as well. So that is going to be a fantastic show as always. So make sure you tune in for that on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I'm back tomorrow with the Lionesses against the Czech Republic. We'll be doing a watch along of that game. That's going to be fun, I'm sure. They're playing really well at the minute. 23 games unbeaten under Serena. Going to win the World Cup, I think, actually. Certainly, I've got more confidence in that England team than the other one to win the World Cup the next few months. So, but we'll see. But that's tomorrow. It's a busy week, isn't it? Because Thursday's Europa League watch along. That's an early one, as Melvin said, 4:45 kickoff, isn't it? So we'll be live at 5:30 for that one. Friday, we've got the Arsenal Women's Show. Looking ahead to the resumption of the WSL this weekend. On Sunday, Arsenal back in action at Reading. And of course, on Sunday, it's a busy day on Sunday. 2 games, Leeds against Arsenal, 2 o'clock kickoff, and then Reading Women against Arsenal Women at 6:45 on Sunday night. So I think on Monday, I'll need to be lying down, let alone doing another show. We will be back next Monday with a review as well. Jason, I want to say thank you very much for your debut. What did you make of your first appearance on the show? Right. Was it a Dennis Bergkamp type debut, or was it maybe a William Saliba type debut?
Bergkamp type debut. No, I really enjoyed it actually. It was a pleasure to be here, and really great chat and great lads. So yeah, I'd love to come back on. That'd be really cool.
No, we will definitely want you back on. I know you want to kind of get involved with the women's stuff as well, don't you? So hopefully you can be available for some of the women's stuff that we do as well. It'd be good to get your input on that side of things as well. It's something that we enjoy covering on his channel, and it's good to get more people involved on that side of it as well. It's difficult to get people actually to come on with the women's team for some reason. So many people say, oh yeah, really interested, and then when it comes down to it, for some reason they don't want to get involved in it. I don't know why. There's so many people on the fringes that are not quite, whether it's a confidence thing, I'm not sure, but there's a few people that have expressed an interest, because I've been trying to get some different people to come on, get different opinions on it all, and when it comes down to it, they don't seem to want to do it. But yet, it seems a lot easier to get people to come and talk about the men's team, which I don't know. I don't know whether that's just the stage that we're at with the women's team at the minute. I don't know whether or not that will change in the next year or so.
I think it's probably just the visibility. It's just that it's the whole ethos behind it all. It's so much easier to be able to, and you don't necessarily, some people miss the full 90 minutes, or don't attend the game or whatever, and they still give their 2 cents. They're still happy to do so. I think it's that, it's that simple. It's just the availability of the matches and stuff, and obviously that's growing. And as I mentioned to you earlier, the little small women's group I co-admin, before the Euros, 2,500 members. After the Euros, well, today 19,900 members in 2.5 months. It's a growth of 800%. Amazing. The women's game's growing massively, and I think it'll be much easier for you in the future to find guests and stuff. And
no, I'm hoping so. And you're right, it is growing really quickly. I mean, Arsenal women have just sold 20,000 tickets at the Emirates for the Man United game already. And it's not until the end of November. So that could be another 40, 50,000, couldn't it? Potentially again. Filling the Emirates for a women's game would be amazing. Obviously, the Champions League games there as well. I think those attendances will be a bit lower, won't they? They're midweek for a start off, and the opposition, I know the Lyon games could be quite exciting, but I think the other opposition, may not be quite as attractive for a Wednesday night or Thursday night. So, but yeah, it's good that it is growing. It's brilliant, and let's hope it continues, because it deserves the support. It deserves more people to be watching and being involved, and let's hope that will be the case. But that's amazing growth in that group, isn't it? From
incredible,
from up to that many that quickly, and let's hope the growth continues. Henny's got a question for us. Actually, he says, "Do we know how many Arsenal supporters are coming to Bodo? It will be however many tickets that we were allowed to have. I'm not sure the exact number actually. I'm not imagining it'll be massive amount, because the ground's quite small, isn't it? But however many tickets we were allocated, we would have sold them all, and that's what we'll bring. There'll probably be a load of Norwegian fans, Arsenal fans anyway, in Norway. That will probably be there anyway. That might not necessarily be in the Arsenal section. That will just come along because they're local in Norway, because I know we've got a lot of Scandinavian fans, haven't we? But what the actual ticket allocation was, I'm not sure. I don't think it was very big though, was it? I'm not sure if it was less than 1,000 potentially. I'm not really sure. Henning says there the away section is 404 tickets. Well, there you go. If that's all we've got, then we'll have all of that. Plus, we'll probably have a few more. We'll have a few more dotted around the stadium, I'm sure, as well. But yeah, we'll have enough to make it a decent atmosphere, I'm sure. 404 aways there. What sort of ground have you got there, Henning?
That's about 5%, I believe. I think they're about 8,000.
Are they?
Yeah,
give us 1,000 tickets, man. Come on, give us 1,000. We'll sell 1,000 tickets. We'll sell more than that, probably. And he says, yes, absolutely. There are a lot of Arsenal supporters here. Yeah, there are. Yeah, all of Scandinavia. It's one of the biggest. The Scandinavian Arsenal supporters club, one of the biggest, isn't it? He says 8,240 is a capacity at the stadium. Well, there you go. Well, you should have given us the 8,000 then. We'd have filled that, and then you can have the 240 in the corner like you had at the Emirates. That would be good. Neil, again on the Monday show, we do love to see you on. You enjoyed the show?
Yeah, tremendously. Thank you. I was sorry I was late. Just
no worries.
Usual, but yeah, thank you for having me on. As always, lovely to meet you, Jason. Really enjoyed it. And as always, Melvin, Rich, top guys. Thank you. Always an honour. So thank you for having me on. Can't wait for the next one.
No, it's always a pleasure to have gone. Hopefully next week, next Monday, we'll be having some more, great performances to look back on and discuss and be happy for another week. And we look forward, obviously, to Henning's hospitality in Norway on Thursday. I'm sure that'll be good as well. We look forward to that. Thank you very much for joining us again, Henning. I'm glad you enjoyed your trip to London. I enjoyed your team anyway and your supporters. It was great, so well done, and we look forward to that next week. So that is another Arsenal review on a Monday evening. Some more great stuff. And just before we go, we just need to remind everybody, just in case there's any doubt, I know one day it's going to be a sad day. I'll have to be binning that little jingle off.
Never.
I'm going to keep playing it while it's still relevant, and I'm going to enjoy it.
We're going to stay there until the end of May.
Well, let's hope so. I would enjoy it. If it was at the end of May, there'll be a different one with a different song that will be played by Queen, quite potentially. Although it'll get probably shut down for playing that song, but I'll definitely play that if we are still top at the end of May. But we'll see. Anyway, thank you all you guys for watching. Thank you very much to Melvin, as always, to our debutant Jason, and of course to Neil. Don't forget, join us tomorrow if you can for the Lionesses game against Czech Republic, or if not, make sure you're definitely here on Wednesday at 8 o'clock for Melvin's Highbury Matters, because that is going to be an amazing show as always. Loads of great stuff this week on the channel, loads of watch-alongs, loads of games to enjoy. We're top of every league that we're in, everything at the minute. We're top of the bingo league, we're top of everything. So Arsenal just top. So what is there not to enjoy about being top? So see you all guys later. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll see you very soon. And in the meantime, of course, as always, come on you guys, let's do it. Come on.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys.
We've watched Gabriel Martinelli. It's now with Granit Xhaka. Is it going to be the third goal? It is the third goal. Granit Xhaka with it. That seals it.